So I've been working at Domino's for the past 2.5 months. So I want to do a quick video on one, how much money have I made working at Domino's so far? And two, for those of you wondering or thinking about getting a second job, is it worth it? Is it worth bothering delivering pizza as a second job, and is it lucrative enough? All right, so let's talk about it. So I started January 10th of this year. Today is April 2nd, or it'll be April 2nd when you see this video. And in that time, here's the breakdown of the income. First month, that first half month, I made about 1,500 or 1,600 bucks. The second month, February, I made 3,100 bucks. Now, February, my hours were ramped up. I probably worked an average of 35, 36 hours a week in February. March, I made just over 3,000. Hours came down a little bit. Probably worked roughly around 27 to 33 hours a week in March. So altogether, 3,000, 3,100, and 1,500. What's that? 61, 76, 7,700 bucks. All right, in 2.5 months. So in months where I'm working a full shift, or I work the whole month, I'm averaging right over 3,000 a month. For those of you wondering the breakdown of that, like per hour, I usually work, more recently I've worked 3 days a week, the busier days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I close on those days. So they're usually roughly not 8.5 to 9.5 hour shifts. So minimum, I'm working 27.5 hours. So that roughly has equated to about 23 bucks an hour in the full months that I've actually worked. So February and March. So is that worth it? For some of you, you might be wondering, is it worth bothering with all of this, right? Because you might hear from people who say, get out of debt, get your second job, put all the money towards your debt. And if that's where you are, honestly, I would say, yes, it is worth it. And for me, I'm already out of debt, but this is a second job for me. This is a job to save money on top of what we already have. Because there's a lot of things we're trying to do financially in the next 5 years that just extra income is going to help with. So really, it's a matter of, are you willing to give up your time? And I had this conversation with somebody else who was asking me roughly what I was making. You have to understand, I live in Minnesota, right? So minimum wage here is about is 11.13 an hour, at least in my town. Now in the cities, minimum wage is apparently a little bit different. But where I am, it's 11.13 an hour. So if I'm telling you I'm making about 23 an hour roughly, right? The rest of that is tips. So you make most of your money as a delivery driver in tips. And all that is you being willing to give up your weekends. Again, on most weeks in March, I only worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. That's it, right? Now, occasionally I would be scheduled for like a Thursday night. Occasionally they might throw in a Monday night here and there if they needed me. And sometimes, actually a lot of times, you have the ability to pick up shifts from other drivers, right? So if someone, has a scheduling conflict, they need to go somewhere, they can't work their shift, they'll say, can any driver pick this up for me, right? And if you're not already working that day, just extra money for you, right? So really it comes down to, are you willing to give up your weekends, right? And for me, it's hard for me to understand why that would not be something people would want to do, especially if you're struggling. If you're struggling, it's honestly a great way to make extra money. Now, you might be thinking about some other pieces of the job, like wear and tear on your car. So for me, that's something I don't consider as much, because when I do Domino's, I don't drive the car I'm sitting in. I drive our older car. It is a 2007 Toyota Corolla. It's got 230-something thousand miles on it. And honestly, I don't think much about miles as long as the car is running and, running well. The other thing with that is, at my location, the Domino's location I work at, they have a company car. So, and that car usually goes to the person who is opening the store. And then when that person leaves, it goes to the person closing the store. And when I work, I'm always closing the store. So I oftentimes don't even drive my own car. Like, I'm not putting miles in my car. I'm not putting gas in my car. And anytime I have to put gas in the company car, I get reimbursed for it. So for me, it's a win-win, because honestly, the longer I can go without putting crazy miles on my Toyota, the longer it's going to last, and the longer I have to think about getting a backup car, right? So, and that car can last a while. And I just think if you're somebody who has a beater car, it works really well. If you're someone who's driving like nice ass cars and that's the only cars you drive, then yeah, delivery driving might not be for you. I understand why you might be worried about that. But honestly, if you're in a place where you're in lots of debt anyway, like, your car might be part of the problem. So honestly, I wouldn't even be worried about that. I would be worried about income first, like getting the income up, and getting another job is a great way to do that. Now, other things about like working delivery that you might not know about, right? So again, I mentioned that I've closed. Something that is consistent with like food service industries is that a lot of times the people who own the stores, and this is no different for the store that I work for, they're looking to maximize sort of labor hours. So looking at sales versus the cost of labor, right? And if sales are slow, like if we're having a day where people are not ordering lots of pizzas, they want to start sending people home so that we are not spending more than we're making. That's just a common business practice, right? And if you're not someone closing the store, you're going to get sent home often if there's not a lot going on. The benefit for me as someone who closes a store is that I never get sent home. Because if somebody, Domino's Pizza, most Domino's pizzas are open until 1 a.m. every single night. And then like 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. If someone orders a pizza at 1:30 on a Friday, someone has to be there. If they order for delivery, someone's got to be there to deliver it, right? So I never get sent home early. So I automatically, when I look at the hours, I know I'm going to at least, at minimum, work those hours. Whereas other people, if they're scheduled for like a 4 to 10 shift or like a, 4 to 12, whatever it is, they are not necessarily guaranteed to stay that long unless it's busy. So that's another thing about like giving up your time. The more time you're willing to give up, the later you're willing to stay up. You are going to be guaranteed hours, whereas other people aren't. Now, the flip side of that is you don't sleep as much. It's going to be hard on you on days where, you have to get up early, right? So like I have a full-time job. I work remotely as an analyst, right? I'm on my computer a lot. On Sunday nights, that's a hard shift because I have to go work Sunday, work until at least 1:30, and then I have to turn around and get up and work at 8. So, you think about it, you might get out of there at 1:30. I come home, probably try to eat something. By that time, it's 2. You wash yourself up. You do all that. You come down, relax. It's about 2:30. You're not getting much sleep. So, yes, there are trade-offs. You have to be willing, but that should be known at this point. Like, if you're going to try to make extra money, yes, you have to be willing to give up some time, to give up some sleep, to give up some things that everybody else has the leisure of doing because you are striving for something that other people don't have, and that's financial freedom, right? Like and this is not something I plan to do forever. I just want to make that really clear. Like, I'm not saying that you should put your health and your life and everything else at risk for the rest of your life just so that you can make a couple extra dollars. I'm not saying that. What I am saying though is if you're willing to endure something like pizza delivery, which again, I live in Minnesota, it's not glamorous. It's snowing outside right now. Like, it's April and it's snowing. I've delivered pizzas in negative 18-degree weather. Like, it's crazy. Domino's is kind of like the USPS, like the mail service. Like, unless like we are getting unless a plane has crashed and destroyed all the roads, we are out there. Like, if you ask to deliver, we deliver. That is just that simple. Like, there's nothing yet that I have encountered weather-wise that has stopped us from delivering. And maybe there is something that will, but not that I'm aware of. So if you're willing to endure some discomfort, if you're willing to endure, people maybe looking at you a little funny, like the amount of looks I get from people, especially because I occasionally in this car, when my other car didn't work for whatever reason, I had to deliver in this car. Like, you get funny looks all the time. Like, but honestly, I don't care. Like, I don't care about what other people think. I don't care about being tired. Like, I'm somebody who sleeps very little anyway. So I might as well be out here making money. That's how I see it. And if you're willing to give that up for a little bit, you can do really, really well. Again, I am averaging $3,000 a month right now And this is the slower time of the year. In summer, it's going to be even not worse, but it's going to be even busier because just people just order more pizza when they're outside having fun, hanging out, right? Everybody is just more prone to order more. So I'm doing 3,000 when it's slow. So I'm interested to see what it looks like when things pick up in the summer, and I'm gonna keep making videos about like what I made this month, what I made with whatever month, each month, I think. But I just wanted to say to people who are thinking and considering, like, because I'm sure people have listened to the Dave Ramsey's of the world and been like, hey, Dave Ramsey's, I've heard people say Dave Ramsey's advice is so out of touch. Like he's sitting there saying you could make $3,000, $2,000, $3,000 delivering pizza. Yeah, you can. You literally can. And I'm literally doing it right now. So before you get your panties in a bunch and start talking about how out of touch everybody is, just take it from somebody who is out here doing the work. It's very possible, if you're willing to work for it, if you're willing to give up some weekends, some nights, if you're willing to do that, you can make money. And that's all I really wanted to get through to y'all. Again, $3,000, man. What could you do with $3,000? Could you pay off some debt? Could you, even if it's something that's more frivolous, like what if you could just go on a vacation with that 3,000, right? You don't have to be in a bad financial spot to work more. Just use the time you have to build the life you want. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, that's all I want to share with y'all. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm pretty open when it comes to financial stuff, so just ask. I'll talk to you later. Bye.